Welcome to Remnant Online Followers. Please kindly subscribe. Thank you.
Our focus today as a people, even in church, is, oh, God bless me. God give me a car. God give me promotion. There's nothing wrong in blessing you. He said, I have not called the seed of Jacob to seek me in vain. But if that becomes your focus, you are in trouble. Because the more you have, the more tendency of being deceived you will become. The Bible calls it the deceitfulness of riches. Mark 4:19. And in that same scripture, he gave you the second thing that would trigger the fall. The cares of this life. Those who don't have enough, who have to pay bills every day. He said even those ones are endangered. Because if you don't have house rent, if you don't have school fees for your children, if you are not careful, you will do something that you don't believe you are able to do. The cares of this life. So neither the rich nor the poor is spared in this equation. The devil is coming for both the rich and is coming for both the poor. The one that has, there is deception in riches. The one that is poor, there are cares. All of that is done to buffet his soul. And then he went further to tell us the fourth thing that makes for falling away. He said, is the love for this world. This generation that somebody drives a car, another person is having sleepless nights. Somebody wears a ring, another person is going to do everything to wear the same ring. Be careful what you desire, because the devil will route every pathway to make sure that you and I fall away. And then be careful what you anchor your confidence on. This generation where somebody has a car, he feels he has arrived. Somebody is elected into an office, he feels he has become a god. Be careful. He said a man's value is not in the multitude of his possession. As far as God is concerned, a car added nothing to you. As far as God is concerned, a promotion on a job added nothing to you. That's not the route to kingdom promotion. We may call it promotion, call it breakthrough in church, because we are a fallen people. But in the realms of the spirit, promotion has to do with where you are standing in God. Promotion has to do with the assignments of the kingdom that you can be entrusted with. Promotion has to do with the level of authority that you wield in the realm of God. Promotion has to do with the extent to which you represent God's interest to a jurisdiction that is apportioned to you. That is what the Bible considers as promotion. Be careful what informs your essence. Lust, pride will cause many to fall. And apart from that, there is also warfare and persecution. Those who refuse to fall by iniquity, those who refuse to fall by the deceitfulness of riches, those who refuse to fall by the cares of this life, those who refuse to fall by lust and pride, the devil will come against them with battles and warfares. You think you will not fall? I will fight you until you give up. And it can attack your health, it can attack your finances, it can attack your family. As much as is within your power, take up the shield of faith and defend what is yours. As much as is within your power, shield yourself with prophetic utterances. And even the ones you cannot handle, tell him it doesn't matter if we are thrown into the fire. The fire can be made 7 times hotter. We will not bow, for our God is able to save us. Even if he chooses not to save us, we will not bow. Throw us into the lion's den, we can be eaten up by the lion. And God is also able to protect us from the lion. But whether he saves us or not, we will stand with the God of heaven. This is why I fear for the Christians that have been raised, because this is a generation where we think church is growing because the auditorium is plenty. Listen, there's nothing wrong in number. We are out to win as much multitude as we can win this year. But let me tell you something, the glory of the church is not in the number, it's the people that make up the number. Can you represent God in your family? Can you represent God in your territory? Can you represent God in your nation? What God is looking for is not just number, it's ranking. How many men can move the hand of God? How many men can bring the government of God to a territory? That should be a greater pursuit. Why we pursue the number? Because every soul must be won. We must make sure they are discipled until they become ambassadors of heaven. In John 16:33, he said, in this world you will have tribulation. He said, but be of good cheer. How can I be of good cheer in tribulation? Because greater is he that is in me than he that is in the world. Be of good cheer. I have overcome the world. He said, my peace I give you, not as the world giveth. See, there is something on our inside. And we must raise men who can travel to touch the tangibility of those things. He said, rejoice. Again I say unto you, rejoice. Philippians chapter 4 verse 6. Not because there is abundance, but because there are spiritual technologies of routing the paths of Zion until you come to where him that is light dwells. He said, in all things by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving. He said, let your request be made unto God. Even when it doesn't answer, he said, the peace of God that surpasses knowledge. There is a peace that mind cannot understand. That's what we route in the spirit. But where is the generation that can find God in the midst of persecution? Where is the generation that can find God in the midst of lack? That although the fig tree may not blossom, the labor of the olive might fail, there may be no head in the yard, but I know something, that my God is the horn of my salvation. It will cause my feet to walk in my high places, for he has made my feet like the hinds feet. Nothing can break me, nothing can pull me down. I will rather suffer persecution for the name of the Lord than to compromise for the pleasures of this life. You know what the Bible said? It said when Moses was come of age, he refused to be called the son of Pharaoh's daughter, choosing rather to suffer affliction with the people of God than the pleasures of Egypt, which was but for a season, for he saw him that was invincible. Where is that generation that have the stature to stand until they see him that dwells in the coals of fire? There's a program. Many will fall away, but by the mercies of God, a generation that will stand is rising, and you are part of that generation. An army without compromise is rising, and you are part of that army. I decree and declare, by the power of him that keeps us from falling, you will stand and shine in the midst of darkness. Let me tell you, there is no such thing as choir department, media department, music department in the last day church. See, for administrative purpose, people can be engrafted to do different things. The real department is in the spirit. Paul said, henceforth know we no man after the flesh. The guy playing that guitar should be able to enter a territory and take it over. Otherwise, that thing is religion. The guy playing that keyboard should be able to enter a system and bring the government of God. Otherwise, this thing is a religion. This does not superintend over dimensions in the spirit. And so regardless of where you are, you can be an usher, you can be a drummer, you can be on the computer, you carry enough of God to take a city. In the early church, ushers were city takers. He said Philip went to Samaria, he preached Christ there, the city was filled with joy. Is that an usher? No. That means there are superior departments in the spirit. There are superior dimensions in the spirit. When I come to church, I can serve in the ushering, I can serve in the choir, I can serve in the sanitary unit, but over and above that, I'm an ambassador. Anywhere you find me, you find kingdom. That's the generation that God is raising. Most of you will find yourself addressing even matters that borders on the very constellations of heaven, because of the realms that you will enter. Because it's not church as usual. The cry of the army is about to be heard in the nations of the world. Listen, the time is short. Don't make the mistake of thinking we have eternity. Jesus speaking, he said the harvest truly is plenteous. He said the laborers are few. He said pray the Lord of the harvest to send laborers to his vine. He said say not that there is yet 4 months, then there shall be harvest. He said I tell you already, the field is already white. Don't deceive yourself. God is already ordaining the voices of the next dispensation. God is already raising the generals of the next dispensation. I tell you, very soon the gate will be shut, and you'll be amazed that the men that will determine the operations of God in the kingdom for the next 40 years have already been numbered. When the calling comes, oh, don't shut it down. Some of you go to sleep, you discover sleep is taken away. It's because there is a clarion call in the spirit. The alarms of heaven are being sounded so that your spirit man can come out of your slumber. He said, go into all the world, disciple all nations. Matthew 28 verse 18 to 20. Go into all the world. The word nations there is the word ethnos. It means disciple every ethnic group, disciple every race, disciple every tribe. No race will be left behind. No nation will be left behind. No ethnic group will be left behind. And so any race you get into, you become the progenitor of that race in the spirit. That's why Paul said, my little children, of whom I travail again in prayers until Christ. Some of you will not only win men into the kingdom, you will win races, you will win systems, you will win nations, because such is the capacity with which we are commissioned. That's why he said, you are a city set upon the hill that cannot be hid. Go into other words. Go into other words. Disciple all nations. I don't know about you, but I'm not only interested in nations, brothers. I'm interested in generations. I'm interested in the whole universe, because such as you desire is what you will carry. He said, ask of me, I will give you the nations for an inheritance, the uttermost part of the earth for your possession. A generation is being commissioned. You are not a girl, you are not a boy, you are part of God's army. Some of you are lights in darkness. Some of you are cities set upon the hill. Some of you are progenitors of nations, systems, territories, and generation. But if you don't accept the call, you cannot see your reality. I was talking to a dear brother last night, a man that carried the callings of God, but now he's trying to commission an MC platform, to be invited to do MC and make people laugh. A man that carried a sacred calling. I said, when did you go down to this level? He said, I've seen an abomination upon the earth, that princes are trekking while beggars are riding on horses. I know the dignity of labor, but men have rank, men have stature, men have status in the spirit. If you are called to communicate the oracles of God to nations and to kings, when did you degenerate to become an MC that makes men laugh? I'm not saying being an MC is not a noble profession, but I'm saying you have a calling on your life. He said, no man taketh this honor upon himself, even as it was concerning Aaron and his sons. Some of us have been called into the priesthood of God. This is not the time to be thinking creatively, what do I do to survive? This is the time to hear the alarms of the spirit. If you are called to be an MC, that's fine, that's your calling. But don't because of what to eat. Leave what God has ordained for you to look for what works. Men are being commissioned. Men are being summoned to the high heavens. Nations are being allocated to men. There is so much activity in the spirit, but many are not aware. There are 4 major scriptures that talks about the Great Commission. Matthew 28 verse 18 and 19. The word used there is the word ethnos. It means God is sending men to colonize ethnic groups and races. So there are men who have the capacity and the stature to win races. The second scripture for the commission, the Great Commission, is Matthew 24 verse 14. The word used there is the word ikomin. That is talking about empires. So there are men who are not only sent to races, they are men sent to colonize established empires, organized systems that have built ideologies that rebel against God. They have powers to shut it down. They can enter the media and take it over. They can enter the academia and take it over. They can enter the music world and take it over. They are sent to empires. They can enter territories with ancient empires that represent that priesthood, uproot them and establish a new government. The third scripture used for the commission is Mark 16 verse 15. Go into all the words. The word used there is the cosmos. That's the whole earth. There are certain men that have the capacity to affect their generation. So long as you are on earth in their era, they must touch you. It said until the time of John, the whole earth, a man had influence over the earth. Listen, this is not the time to play around. Capacities are being granted. Ordinations are being given. That's why we do what we do. This is not church program. It's about a corporate heritage that spiraled from eternity past and is heading into eternity future, flowing out of Zion through the earth realm to the world that is to come, so that men can build capacity and be fortified like the walls of the New Jerusalem. This is not the time to be motivated to do God's work. This is the time to beg for it. He said, when the kingdom is preached, men pressed into it. He said, in the days of thy power, the people shall be willing in the beauty of holiness. The last word used for the commission is in Galatians chapter 1 verse 3 and 4. Is the word for the age. Is aeon. Aeon. There are certain men that are called to win an age, an era in the dispensations of God. Is their era. So when you get to eternity, they don't read 2022, 2023. They read the times of Abraham, the times of John, the times of Paul. They represent those eras. So everybody who affected the earth, affected empires, and affected ethnic groups will line up behind them. It's like they are the chapters of those books of God. This is what men should contend for. And that's why they call him. It's an honorable thing. Fight for it until you find your place in God. There's the Great Commission. And then there is the Great Awakening. Because when we are sent, we are not lecturers. We are not talkers. We are high commissioners of heaven, carrying the burdens of the kingdom, the powers of the age to come, and the voice of our master like a trumpet. And so when we cry, the entity and the territory to which we are sent must wake up. The Bible said when God sent Jonah to Nineveh, as he entered the city, he cried. The king tore his garment. See, there are powers that will bow to your voice. The thing is that you have not entered your calling. He said John was in the wilderness and all he was doing was crying. Prepare way for the Lord. Make straight his path. Prepare way for the Lord. He was not a theologian. He only had a voice. And the Bible said the whole of Jerusalem and Judea went to him. Jesus came and made reference to John. When they came to Jesus and tried to arrest him, Jesus used John's validation to prove his ministry. You claim you are the Son of God? And he said, is John a prophet? Because if you believe John a prophet, John said, I am the Son of God. Why are you doubting? And he said, he was a burning and a shining light. He said, you were willing to stay under his light for a season. That is the awakening. You see, we are not talkers. In Ephesians 5:14, he said, awake, awake, thou that sleepeth, arise from the bed of the dead. And he said, Christ will give you light. See, we wake a generation up so that they can encounter the light of heaven. That's who we are. That's why we are doing what we are doing. That's why we will be spent until this is achieved. Because many nations will sleep and sleep into condemnation. Many aeons will sleep into condemnation until the army arise. That's why I say, arise, shine. Thy light is come. So we are awakened to awaken others. And then after that comes the great tribulation. In Matthew 24 verse 21, Jesus said, there shall be a tribulation, a great tribulation. He said there has never been anything like that. And he said there will never be anything like it again until time is accomplished. But you know the good news? We have encountered God too much to be affected by whatever kind of tribulation. That's why if you study Revelation 13 verse 5 and 6, the Bible said, who are these that are dressed with white robes? Who are these ones who are wearing white robes? Where do they come from? And he said, go to the next verse. And I said unto him, he said, these are they which came out of the great tribulation. Nothing can consume you. Whether you are raptured before it comes, whether you are there when it happens, whether you are raptured after, the prophecy is that we will come out of it. So it's not pre-tribulation, post-tribulation, or mid-tribulation that is our body. The thing is that we are carrying garments that cannot be stained. The Bible said, hurt not the oil and the wine. You can't touch our spirit. There's something we have encountered. We are alive in God. You can't get us to compromise for whatever reason. That's the generation awakened to God, that the sting of death cannot affect. And after the tribulation, then comes the judgment. This is what will happen before the scripture in Daniel 7 verse 13. Before the Son of Man shall return. There's activity on the earth. It's on the strength of these happenings that God commissioned us this year to go and get the great harvest. Because there is a soul that must not perish. There is a nation that must not perish. There is a system that must not perish. There is a tribe that must not perish. And there's a generation that must not waste. This is why we are commissioned. And so God told us in 2024, He said it's the year of the great harvest. Listen, we will not only win men, we will win races, we will win empires, we will win nations, we will win the earth, and even the generation. We will have a stake in its heritage. But only those who are fortified like the army can stand. And I told you there are 4 kinds of fortification. The first is light. Because you cannot have a great harvest without a great light. He said, and the light shines in the darkness, and the darkness comprehends it not. John 1 verse 4. So every one of us who believes the word and receives the word, one of the encounters you will have in this year are diverse encounters with light. You will know what you were not taught. You will see what many have not seen. So that on the strength of those light encounters, you can shut Pharaoh down. He said in Exodus chapter 3 from verse 1, he said Moses kept the flock of his father-in-law until he came to Horeb, the mountain of God, and he saw a bush burning that was not consumed. And he said, I will turn to see what this great sight is. Suddenly he heard a voice, take off thy sandals. Where you are standing is a holy ground. Most of you will come to holy grounds, because when light appears to you, it will bring you to the era and the realms of sanctification. Take off thy sandals, for where you are standing is a holy ground. And from that encounter, even the rod of Moses became the rod of God. And Moses returned to Egypt and went to Pharaoh, let my people go, that they may serve me. If you have not encountered light, you cannot engender the great harvest. And so God will generously open us up to chambers of light. Get ready. You will learn wisdom even from the street. Hear me, brothers and sisters. There's no room for religion this year. Everything we do will be by light. Job said in Job 29 verse 4, as I was in the days of my youth, when the secrets of God was upon my tabernacles, he said, by light I walked through darkness. See, this is a year of great victories. Watch it. Most of you will have many victories that you've not had in decades because of light, because the light shines in the darkness. The darkness comprehended it not. So you are going to have testimonies upon testimonies, victories upon victories, because you will function by light. When you pray, you will see. When you study, you will see. When you fast, you will see. When you give, you will see. Everything will bring you into the multifaceted dimension of the tributaries of light. You will encounter light that will make you a victor and more than a conqueror. That's what the year is about. It's not the year of groping in ignorance. It's a year of walking in dimensions of light. And you know what this light will do? It will not only give you victory, it will give you influence. It says, arise, shine, for thy light is come. The glory of the Lord is risen upon you. It says, for the Gentiles shall come to your light, and kings, some of you kings will seek you. It said they will come to the brightness of your rising. You are not going to lobby to see a king. You are not going to lobby to see a CEO. The effulgence of light that comes out of your spirit will not only attract the multitude, even the kings will trace them. Get ready. That's why you need to be prepared this year. There are certain courtesies that you must learn, because you are stepping into royal and noble realms. Realms where ignorance cannot find expression. Realms where mistakes. See, all these things, they give you something to do. You are making 1,001 mistake. No excellence. You have to arise from that realm. That's what engenders the harvest. The moment the light comes, he said the Gentiles. How do you think they found John? He was a burning and a shining light. So the light will give you victories. The light will give you influence. That influence is what will make you win the great harvest. And above all, the light will make you glorify God. He said, let your light so shine before men, that they may see your good works and glorify your Father which is in heaven. So you don't just carry the light. This year you will let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. Listen, this is not the year of complacency. This is not the year of timidity. This is not the year of fear. This is not the year of withdrawing to the back. This is the year to shine. I shine forth like the brightness of the heavens. I shine forth like the lights of the firmament. I shine forth like the glory of the Father. Because when I receive the light, the glory of the Father will rest upon me. You need a consciousness, brother. You don't just carry the light. You are the light. He said you are the light of the world. A city set upon a hill that cannot be hid. See, this thing will open you up. Don't do religion this year. I beg you. When you study the Bible, search light. When you pray, seek light. Seek it. Jeremiah 33 verse 3 say, ask of me, I will answer. But I'm not just here to answer you. He said, I will show you great, mighty things that you know not of. And when you catch that light, as you are going out, you are glorifying God. As you are going out, you are winning and subduing darkness. As you are going out, your influence is spreading, and by that influence, you are winning hundreds, thousands, millions, and you are affecting kings and empires. In Psalm 119 verse 105, it said, thy word is a light unto my feet and a lamp unto my path. I'm not a theologian. I'm not reading the Bible to quote. I'm not reading the Bible to argue. I'm reading the Bible to access the mysteries of God. And by those mysteries, I win victories. I dominate my world. I wreck in harvest. I'm not praying to win the record of the longest prayer warrior. I'm ascending to the realms of God. I'm ascending to heights in Zion to catch things that are immortal, and on the strength of my apprehension, dominate my world. I'm not coming to fellowship because I belong to a denomination. I'm coming because there's a word to Catalambano. There's a light to catch, and when I catch it, I become an answer to my generation. That will be your portion. You will shine in this year.
Thank you for watching. Please kindly like, comment, subscribe, and turn on your notification bell so you always get notified whenever we post a new video. And don't forget to share. Thank you.